Good day, I am Joslyn GALON and I am now here to state my answers on our macroeconomics assignment number 1. So the first question is, what is economics and who is the father of economics? I stated here economics is the science of wealth. It deals with the production, distribution, and consumption. And also, Adam Smith is the father of economics as what I search for. So number 2, what are the branches of economics? So of course, we all know that it is the macroeconomics and the microeconomics. Okay, so microeconomics is the study of individuals and business decisions, and it deals with the behavior of individual households and firms that is influenced by the government, while the macroeconomics looks at a decision of own countries and governments. So generally, it is concerned with economy-wide factors such as inflation and employment and overall economic growth. So question number 3, what are the 10 basic principles of economics, and to give our own understandings to each principle. So principle number 1 based on the book is people face trade-offs. That means to get something that we like, we usually have to give up something that we own, but it is really not needed. So first principle is all about making decision that requires exchanging one goal against another. So the second principle is the cost of something is what you give up to get it. Like for example, as a working student, of course I sacrifice my sleep in order for me to get the money and of course to study in the morning. And the principle number 3 is rational people think at the margin. So this principle describes a small incremental adjustment to an existing plan of action. Like for example, spend an hour watching a TV or an hour reviewing your notes because the exam week is near. So it usually comes in that situation, like the same thought as principle number 2. And here, principle number 4, people respond to incentives. So this one can be a punishment or the reward to yourself. Like for example, for the principle number 3, it is somewhat connected also. Like for example, you will review your notes, and then the reward for that one is you will get a high score in your test. And then like if you will also review your notes, then after that you may reward yourself with an ice cream or a small trip, somewhat like that. And okay, principle number 5 is trade can make anyone better off. So that is the principle says it all. So trading allows everyone to have what they need with exchanging something they don't really need by someone who also needs it. Like my own example for this is like in the past I usually experience traded off, like barter is really famous in social media in the pandemic. So of course someone posted there that he or she has 3 shoes, and the exchange for that is the 5 kilos of rice and then a milk. So of course, so we chatted, we exchanged conversation, and yes, I got the 3 shoes and she got the 5 kilos of rice together with the milk. And that is the example of principle number 5. The trade can make everyone better off. So let's proceed to principle 6, which is markets are usually a good way to organize economic activity. And with principle 7, governments can sometimes improve market outcomes. So in these principles, it really just the market, the economy, and the people who is usually, this is somewhat kind of a cycle. So principle 8, a country's standard of living depends on its ability to produce goods and services. So For this example, like, of course, Cebu, we all know that Cebu is one of the highest employment jobs, especially in the IT park. So, for example, in the IT park, there are a lot of employed people, especially call centers, which are, of course, they have money. So the establishment that is around the area is somewhat have like fast foods, coffee or cafes, and entertainment areas, because that is the goods that the people also there need in order for them to enjoy the life that they want or they need. So, and also the services. So, principle number 9 is prices rise when the government prints too much money. So this is really a bad thing for the economy. When the government prints too much money, it would, of course, the people would have money. And when the people have money, they will intend to buy the goods and wants that they need or want. But somewhat those goods and services, if all of the people can afford it, that will have some crisis, or the goods or services will have crisis, that it will intend them to price a little bit higher in order for the people also to get it. And of course, this is the cause of inflation. So it really needs a balancing of money in order for us to have a good economic growth. And the principle number 10, society faces a short-run trade-off between inflation and unemployment. So this is really just connected. Okay, let's proceed to question number 4, a brief history of macroeconomics. So the severe economic contraction and high unemployment of the 1930s, the decade of the Great Depression, spurred a great deal of thinking about macroeconomics issues, specifically unemployment. So in 1929, 1.5 million of people were unemployed in United States, and in October 1929, when stock price collapsed on Wall Street, billions of dollars of personal wealth were lost. So by 1933, unemployment still increased to 13 million out of labor force of 51 million. And also in 1933, the United States produced about 25% of fewer goods and services than it had in 1929. So, unemployment really remained above 14% of labor force until 1940. And here, also the Adam Smith is the father of economics, while John Maynard Keynes is the founding father of macroeconomics in the modern father of economics. So the question number 4 is really the decade, or like the 1930s is the decade of Great Depression in the United States, and of course in the economy. So question number 5, what are the economic concerns and goals? So here, the goals and concerns of macroeconomics are the following: to provide the stable economic environment that is conducive to fostering a strong and sustainable economic growth, on which creation of jobs, wealth, improve of living standard, and of course a full employment for everyone. And number 6 is to explain the circular flow of model, and I will explain this one. The circular flow model highlights the flows within the economy, the flow of economic resources, goods and services, and the flow of the money itself. The circular flow model shows the interaction between two groups of economic decision makers, household and businesses, and two types of the economic markets: the market for resources and the market for goods and services. While the real economy is much more complex, The simple circular flow model is useful for understanding some key economic relationships. So question number 7 is, what is your understanding in the law of supply and demand? So the law of supply and demand really just states that when the supply is high, the prices of the goods and services will low, and of course when the prices will high, that means that the supply is also low. So basically that is just a balancing. Like for example, on that time the onion is really pricey. That means like the prices of the onion is high, and that is because the supply of the onion is very low. But when the prices of the onion really go low again, that means there is an enough supply of the onions in the market.